Hello, everybody. It's Holger Mueller from Constellation Research, quickly talking about what was the news this morning. Not surprising anymore. Lots of rumors out since almost over a week about Microsoft acquiring GitHub for 7.5 billion in stock. So definitely Microsoft doesn't buy anything cheap under Satya Nadella. Still have to make the equation that gives them 28 million developers. Question is how active compared to how much they paid for LinkedIn. In this case, I think it's still very expensive, but I think it's a deal Microsoft wanted to make. And I can rationalize it a little bit better than the LinkedIn acquisition, but it's not about LinkedIn, but about GitHub. GitHub is the place where developers like to put information or code, both projects and code assets, when they want to share it with other developers around the world. Vital parts of open source are being put there, general ideas are being tested, collaboration happens, work is being assigned. So it's the place where to go. It has a social reputation factor. Before you might hire someone or work with someone, you check out what else they have done on GitHub. So it's an important asset for building next generation applications today in the 21st century, very different to the rigid model of everything is local on premise on the corporate environments and the code share server and runs there. So an important asset which Microsoft has been very close to since many years. I mean, I saw the company presenting at Microsoft developer events before, even like 1.5 years ago at that Connect event, the chance to speak to then acting CEO, now still acting CEO Chris Van Straat, losing money. So the question for GitHub was always how they're going to exit this market and where they're going to move to. Well, now we have an answer. Congratulations to whoever had shares and assets in the company. They probably will be doing well. So what are the takeaways from my perspective, the top 3 takeaways? It's a strategic move by Microsoft. They got to own a key piece of modern application development. It is kind of like if you think of the developer being working in his living room or her living room, the couch is kind of like the IDE they're working on, and GitHub is kind of like the TV or the remote in a reverse sense that we only consume things, but an interactive TV where you put your assets, where you see what's going on, where you see what's hot or not, where you see what your colleagues are doing, who has posted stuff, and so on. It's not a social network by any means, but it has social networking aspects from that perspective. Owning a piece of that is always important to get more relevant. Not that Microsoft is not relevant for developers, but especially for things which Microsoft has not been so much involved in. From a product perspective, the company itself is the biggest user of GitHub, as Nadella shared this morning. But from a customer perspective, using Microsoft development products, they're not really so much engaged on the GitHub perspective. So it gives Microsoft access to those users. On the flip side, it has to show that evil corporate vendor like a Microsoft and so on can keep things going, which I think Microsoft will, because otherwise they reduce the value of the whole GitHub part. But nonetheless, I think we'll see competitors like GitLab, like Assembler, like Helix, potentially even, maybe even the Jiras and the Jives of the world, who are more operating the whole development process, try to use this part of GitHub now being part of Microsoft. And Microsoft will have to show how it does that, how it keeps GitHub open. The big potential I see, apart from the community part, apart from being an asset in the living room, interesting changes of the automatic camera here, but it's not my doing, is the massive potential for Azure. GitHub is only a code repository. That means that I have to do a few manual steps as a developer to download the code, to test the code, to run the code for testing purposes, for validation purposes, for just getting to know it really works, and of course in production, which is a major challenge and issue. So making Azure the default execution environment for this is great for Azure, creates a lot of load, means a lot of servers. A lot of servers mean economies of scale, means lower cost for Azure, something that Microsoft, like all IaaS providers, are very desperate to get. So good perspective from this. So we have the commitment this morning from Nadella that GitHub will be keeping open and the cloud service piece will point to other public clouds too. Now the big question is if the other vendors, the Amazons, the Googles, the Oracles, the IBM, to mention the top 5, or the Alibabas, the top 6, will be interested in doing this, might acquire a competitor. or will be just doing the plug and play into GitHub, and then would be very good from Microsoft perspective to justify the investment that GitHub really made sense, because now there's openness and will be a win for developers. So Microsoft should be open to that and try to get other third-party IaaS, from their perspective, be able to run, execute code, assets, fragments, valuable pieces on the other environments. Because even if that wouldn't be happening, Microsoft, in my view, should be doing this, because the future is multi-cloud. Enterprises don't want to deploy to a single cloud, no matter which one that is, but to multiples for a number of reasons, which we don't go in because this video is going to take long. So overall, my POV, my point of view, very good move by Microsoft. Now they have to execute. Ned Friedman, the former founder and CEO of Xamarin, is in charge, which I think has a good reputation both in the developer open source community with what he created with Xamarin. So now we have to see what they're going to do next and will be doing next. Chris Vanstrott's going to be a technical fellow. Both will be under Scott Guthrie. It's a significant business under Guthrie, so we'll see how that will get managed. Saying this because there were other assets in the past, not going to go into this two-shot video, which have been kind of like a little bit neglected, because Scott Guthrie is a great guy, but has a lot on his plate. So now we have to see what's going to happen the rest of 2018 in regards of Microsoft making sure that GitHub remains open. This was Holger Mueller from Constellation Research, lifting up the logo. There it is. So it's in there too, because I can't upload it at the moment into Google Hangouts on demand. Follow me on Twitter at HolgerMU, that's HOLGERMU, for live pieces. There's a lot of tweets about the calls this morning on there, and my point of view that as well too. Thanks for watching, appreciate it.